Today is January the 2nd, and this is the first blog I've done, I think, in about a week. Again, my topic is normally caregiver support, and that's my main focus, is on caregiving and support for caregivers. Hang on a second. I apologize, I had to change locations. I was sitting in a picnic shelter and suddenly people showed up to use it. So, changing location. Just going to walk down here a little bit, and this is probably okay. So caregiver support. The last few days have been a little emotional and difficult. Last week I met with the hospice social worker because my roommate's doctor saw it fit to make a referral to some occupational and physical therapy services without going through hospice first, and this could endanger our hospice services. So I met with her, and basically my roommate will have to choose which one she wants. It is her decision. I've made it clear, and I don't mean to sound like an ass, but I've made it clear that it's not possible for me to handle her care without the support that I'm getting, that we are getting from hospice. On top of that, Friday our aide wasn't able to make it because she had the stomach flu, which naturally I wouldn't want her there if she's sick. My roommate is on neutropenic precautions, so I have to make sure anybody that comes into the house to see her is healthy, and when I'm not healthy I have to be sure that I go to extremes to protect her from infection. So we haven't had an aide in the house since last Wednesday, and today's Monday. So that's made it a little hard. And then today she didn't come because she had given her notice, and they didn't replace her in time. I spoke to them at the agency, and they had planned for somebody to come, but they backed out at the last minute, and we weren't informed. I'm sitting at the house dressed and ready to get a couple hours out of the house, and they never showed up. So I called, and I was told that they're going to try to get somebody in by Wednesday, but I won't be able to go anywhere Wednesday other than a doctor's appointment I have, because I need to be there to monitor the new aide and make sure they are appropriate. Of course, I don't want a stranger in my house without getting to know them first and making sure they understand my roommate's needs and my expectations, and develop some trust. Hopefully they'll be as good as our last aide, because she was the bomb. So the last few days, anyway, had been overwhelming for me. I have been very depressed, very weepy, very moody. I just feel like, like I'm doing this by myself, and I know I'm not. There are people who are helping. In particular, there are two friends who have been more help than anyone. One readily gives me respite when I need it, sometimes at a moment's notice, so shout out to her. And the other friend calls me daily to make sure I'm okay. So that has been helpful. But, I guess my big thing is, and maybe the focus of the rest of what I have to say today is, you know, as a caregiver, a lot of people don't realize how socially isolating it is, how overwhelming it is, how lonely you feel, especially if your partner is sick. There's not a lot of communication there. In my case, my roommate sleeps much of the day. Getting her to do anything is difficult. And recently I've been trying to get her to self-manage her medications, at least daytime meds. Getting her to show me that she can, at the very least, walk to the bathroom and back. And she did this morning, according to her. I did not see her do it. She said I was asleep, but the time she gave me, I wasn't asleep, so I don't know. I have no reason to think she's lying, so she walked to the bathroom this morning. And the reason for that is we're about to be out of money, and if I don't get to work, then we're going to not be able to pay rent. I'm going to be rambling today. So my issues today are social isolation, financial concerns, major financial concerns. Once I accept a job, I'm going to lose what little bit of assistance I get with health care. So I have that concern. Then there's also the endless paperwork that we're supposed to have done, my roommate is supposed to do, that is always a battle that I'm forcing her. And she got a little worried this morning. She's like, well, I have to have a rent agreement, and I have to have copies of the utility bills, and I have to have this. And I'm like, only if the lease is in your name, only if the utilities are in your name. I don't think you have to have them if they're in my name. We need to contact DHHR and explain to them what the situation is, and then I'll figure out the rest. And I'm not sure why they want all this from her when they didn't require it from me. So I don't know. It's for Medicaid. I get Medicaid, and she will. Somebody signed her up for it, even though she has veterans benefits. Somebody signed her up for it. So, needless to say, obviously, the way I'm rambling, it's been a crazy weekend for me. I'm glad the year 2016 is gone, but I'm just so frustrated because I just feel so lost and helpless and overwhelmed, and it doesn't seem to matter how much I tell the doctors or the agencies providing services, with the exception of Hospice. They don't seem interested in me as the caregiver. They seem more concerned with my roommate, which is understandable, and that's the medical model, and I get that. But I feel like there's no appreciation for the fact that I've provided financial sustenance, I have provided physical care, I have provided shelter, telephone, everything, and there doesn't seem to be any respect or acknowledgement for that. So my goal this week is to get her Medicaid things straightened out, get some of the paperwork done and mailed to the VA for her financial benefit, and get my resume cleaned up and submitted. But first finding out what amount of income I can make before I lose the Medicaid, and if I do lose the Medicaid, what health care is going to cost me. Because, we have to have it. Legally, we have to have it. So, that makes it hard on the people that are working part-time. Those are the people that are hurt the most by it. So, again, if any of you all have ever had experiences, if you have any advice, any feedback, or just if you've been there, done that, wrote the book yourself, let me know. Please hit me up with a like, subscribe, leave your comments and feedback, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Also, too, be sure to check out some of my other videos. There's videos about Barbersville Park. Of course, there's some stupid cat videos I did 5 or 6 years ago. And I've also developed an interest in what's called ASMR, and do a Google search on that, and you'll get an idea of what it is. And I've been doing some videos for that as well. Thank you. Have a blessed day.